that's a successful night.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, I want to know how much fuel I got left. I saved so much, and Darian just waited a really long time to cut me loose to go, and I still didn't go to full capability. Hard to, we still left the race win on the table here, but still a big picture. It was a good day for our FedEx Cross Toyota.
How difficult is it to save fuel and try to save fuel in those final laps when you know the victory is just out ahead of you?
That's impossible. I mean, it just goes against everything we've ever learned as race car drivers. Fuel saving. Usually, when you get terrible fuel mileage, that means you're in the gas, and that's what we're taught to do as kids. And so to back all that up and to go in fuel save mode, I knew what I had to do. I could afford to let 15 beat me, but I couldn't get behind the 48 and 2 right there. So we'll take second and move on.
Second place tonight, third in the championship, 15 points down. Jamie?
And Jimmie Johnson brings it home third tonight. When you cut into that lead, 7 points separate you and Brad Keselowski now. But what were those closing laps like, knowing you had to save as much as you did?
Well, I knew I did a good job. We started saving double the distance, so I knew we were going to be fine, and we're just being really cautious and didn't want to go up there and chase the 11 and get ourselves in trouble. So we're getting a lot better at this fuel mileage racing. It's a tough thing to do. We've worked hard to get it right. We're still not the best car out there, but we're making it work week in and week out, and that's it's part of the game right now for whatever reason. So happy to have this Milo's car in third. Glad to gain on the 2 car, and we'll go to the next one. This thing's still wide open for anybody.
Absolutely. Another good night for the 48. Doc?
And our points leader is still our points leader, Brad Keselowski, a 7-point lead, 140 laps left, great race car, but tonight the fuel mileage, something that's been good for you most of the year.
Yeah, it's like playing blackjack. Sometimes you're going to get a good deal, but you're not going to win them all. You know that, and you hope that when you're sitting there with 13 that you can, just not have a lot of chips in the pile. We didn't lose too much. We got 11th out of a day where everything kind of fell against us from cautions at the beginning to lack of them at the end, and we still put out a respectable effort. So good day. Like I said, led a bunch of laps, which helps to make up for not getting a top 10, but still would like to get those other few spots, but you're not going to catch them breaks every time, and we still made the most of it.
They asked you about saving fuel. You said, I don't think I can save that much, I'm going to go for it. You went ahead and put the throttle down. Do you think now you could have saved enough to make a difference?
I don't know. I need to sit back and watch the race and see how it all played out. It's hard to tell. I don't have the whole picture yet, so it's hard for me to say.
All right, Brad Keselowski, 7-point lead, leaving Charlotte. Guys?
And Clint Bowyer's crew still pushing that car.
Yeah, they could have pushed it through the little quarter-mile opening that they had, but the fans were all cheering. They just pushed it all the way down the straightaway and came in on the entrance of pit road.
We talked about tonight what a big deal it is to win at the hometown track.
It is a big deal
Of all the teams. And let's take a snapshot of the championship picture. So Jimmie Johnson was 14 behind entering the night. He's cut that in half. Denny Hamlin gained 12 points on the lead. Clint Bowyer also gaining 12 points on the lead. Casey Kane is basically even on where he started the night in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup as we're halfway through the championship.
I'm sorry, but I think Casey Kane has to be a little disappointed. I think this was one of those races that they targeted to gain points.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, but I think he's still in it. I think at least those top 5, if not even Greg Biffle, still have a shot at this thing.
Well, while they wheel this 15 car into victory lane, the drivers already made it there. Victory lane presented by Tire Rack. Martinsville, Texas, Phoenix, and Homestead, Miami to round out this championship. It's going to be interesting down this stretch. Thoughts on what you saw here tonight?
Just what a great race. I mean, we saw good racing, side-by-side racing, a lot of different leaders, but the plots to twist and turn through all of this and making this battle for the championship a little bit closer. It'll be fun. Now, you talk about how it changed. Clint Bowyer was complaining so much about his race car early in the race. He thought he was just going to finish a lap down, and then they come back and win this thing on strategy for another win. I think you really got to hand it to Brian Paddy, the crew chief on this car, too.
So Brad Keselowski, the championship leader starting tonight, leads the most laps and continues that trend where the guy that leads the most laps doesn't win. And Clint Bowyer finally with a car to take the photos off. It's in victory lane, celebrating a huge homecoming weekend victory at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Greg Biffle finished fourth tonight, Vince.
And a real fast race car down at the end, too. You guys took a big swing at it to get it where you got it, but nice night for you. Cut into the championship lead as well.
Yeah, you know, we had a great night. Green Fork Fusion was fast all night. We had IDG in the car here tonight, but it just, you know, I was too loose all night, and I just didn't take big enough swings at it. I didn't want to get tight, because when you get tight here, it's miserable. And there, about 100 to go, we took a big swing at the car, and she really took off. And we started sort of the fastest lap times, but we had so much track position to make up. And then, you know, you can't beat the fuel mileage. We're just not in that game to be able to go as far as those guys were going. So it hurts to get beat on fuel mileage, but we were the first car of the three that made it on fuel mileage. So I feel pretty good before.
Fast tonight, 4th, and now 6th in the standings, 43 points out. Jamie?
Well, for the 3rd time in the chase, you're the best non-chaser, Kyle. It's got to be a relief to have a good night, a solid night, and bringing home top 5 to finish one of these things.
Yeah, it was. You know, darn fuel mileage played against us again, but, you know, it's good for the 11 and those guys. They come home P2, so Toyota won, so that's always cool, of course, and BOWYER and those guys. But our M&M's Camry was fast. I mean, we had a really good race car, and I felt like we had a winning car, barring circumstances and how they played out, but just wasn't there for us there at the end, and, you know, with the strategy and everything. So can't say enough about all the guys, though. They fought hard. Yesterday we fought a lot of the problems that we fought tonight, but we had a better driving car tonight. Seemed like at least better than some other guys anyways, and you know, we come home okay.
Kyle Busch brings it home 5th.
Headline of the night at Charlotte will obviously be the driver who pulled into victory lane, that being Clint BOWYER, who entered this night 40 points behind the leader, Brad Keselowski. Right now, he is 28 points behind and in victory lane for the 3rd time this season. But I want to talk about the guy who finished 2nd, the guy who is currently 3rd in points, Denny Hamlin. Some smart racing out of him. Last weekend in Talladega, he said he almost took the weekend off to play it safe in that very up-in-the-air race. This weekend, he had to play it safe again with fuel mileage. What are we seeing out of Denny Hamlin?
Well, we're seeing a smart racer, a guy that's going for points. You know, I would have bet you, and I think I did bet some of you this week, that this race was not going to come down to fuel mileage. It is showing me that the sport is changing. And what's really neat is it's not about having the fastest car. Even if you got the fastest car, like Clint BOWYER and his crew chief said, you got to play this strategy. And it's showing me that Denny Hamlin and his guys are learning to play that. Even though their car is fast, they're getting what they have to get to stay close to that point lead.
Yeah, it's a maturation process for that race team. Darian Grubb comes over, brings a tremendous amount of experience. He's got an engineering background, and they're making good decisions that have been solid all year long. So now we're looking at this race. I'm telling you, Denny Hamlin is a serious threat to win this championship. Brad Keselowski, Paul Wolf, they stumbled a little bit tonight. We saw a little chink in the armor. But I'll tell you what, Denny Hamlin is a serious threat.
Well, I tell you what, I'm liking the top 3. I really am. I mean, these guys are all smart. I mean, what BOWYER's done for saving fuel is amazing, and what Denny Hamlin's done driving really, really smart. And Johnson, I'm telling you what, he led some laps tonight. He looked fantastic, and he was smart. This fuel mileage thing is getting to be a little bit out of hand, though. It seems like it all is lately. It's just fuel mileage racing. And a lot of these drivers want to hammer down and go for it, just like Denny Hamlin said earlier.
Well, it will be interesting to see what we get next weekend at Kansas. Of course, this is another unknown, the newly repaved Kansas. A bit of a wild card. What are you expecting?
It is, but I'm expecting the same thing. You know, we talked about there being less cautions overall, and I think that's because Goodyear is bringing a really durable tire. These guys are getting the cars so bulletproof. The guys are doing a good job driving them. It's forcing these fuel mileage raises, and because with the new electronic fuel injection, they can predict so accurately what they're doing. It's really making a difference in the races.
We'll be at Kansas next weekend for the NASCAR Nationwide Series, Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. The Cup Series next Sunday, 1 on ESPN. We will see you then.
Superstars spend their life pushing the limits. There's a certain pressure to be at your best when life's the brightest. That Kansas around in turn 4. That's what being a superstar is all about. Absolutely killing it. Coasting to his pit stall. Brad Keselowski may be out of fuel. We're going to need a little